don't know exactly when it started, but I just started thinking more about how it happened to me very often that people that I meet for the first time and I see them and I think like I don't think anything is gonna happen with this person, sexually. Like somehow it seems I'm not attracted to them, and I even verbalize this to M, which is not helpful in expectation management because after a few conversations I end up in bed with this person, and then he's like, "What the hell happened?" And I'm like, I don't know. Like honestly, when I saw this person, I didn't think there was chemistry, and then there was. And then my therapist one time we were just talking about this, and he said, "Well, yeah, I think you're demisexual," and I'm like, I don't even know what that is.
Welcome to Normalizing Non-Monogamy, the podcast where we interview incredible people from all over the world to hear their personal journeys of self-discovery through the lenses of love, sex, and relationships.
Our mission is to show people that they're not alone and to inspire them to embrace their true selves so that together we can open minds and live authentically without shame.
We believe everyone's story is powerful and beautiful, yet it's important to remember that everyone does life a little bit differently and that the views and opinions expressed by our guests do not necessarily reflect our own.
Additionally, we aren't doctors. Please consult a medical professional for anything regarding your health that you might learn about on the show. Enjoy!
Welcome to episode 385. We're Finn and Emma, and today we have a wonderful conversation with Elle. We last talked to Elle back on episode 255, about 2.5 years ago. At that point, she was just about to have a baby. So today...
Later that day, basically.
Yeah, she was right there. So today she comes back, she talks us through her transition to becoming a parent and how she's navigating relationships now.
Yeah, this is an amazing conversation. We're so glad to have Elle back on. And yeah, the big things that we're talking about today are, motherhood, parenthood, navigating non-monogamy, but also some new discoveries on the sexuality front and a little bit of playing around in the kink world. So it's a lovely conversation. We're just excited. So thank you, Elle, for reaching back out, coming back on, sharing your life with us. Thank you.
Yes. For anyone who's a premium subscriber, we're going to jump right into the interview with Elle now. And for anyone else, we're going to go through a couple of announcements. First up, our premium subscription. If you're not familiar, it's a way to skip these announcements up front, but don't worry, we still share important dates of upcoming events in the outro, so you don't miss out on those. To sign up for the premium subscription, go over to our website, normalizingnonmonogamy.com, scroll down on the homepage, and you can sign up for only $4 a month.
And separate from our premium subscription is our virtual community. You probably hear us talk about this every week. That's because we absolutely love it. We have a virtual community that we host on a platform called Mighty Networks. We have over 300 people who are in there all day, every day. It is a social and support community. Yeah, doing those things, socializing and supporting one another. We also have monthly support calls, community discussion calls. We are hosting workshops, monthly workshops now, which are included in the cost of the membership, which that's a new thing.
We are excited about this.
We can hype that up. Yeah, every month we have a new monthly workshop that is hosted by some other facilitator. The next one is coming up on April 9th, if you want to check that out. It is the Stars Talk, hosted by Evelyn Dacker. We'll put some notes and links in the show notes so you can check that out. But yeah, we have these monthly workshops that we're hosting that are now part of the community. So you can get those, plus all the other stuff that we just said, plus ongoing daily chat and support, plus in-person retreats.
In-person retreats.
Holy shit, you get a lot with this community.
Our next in-person retreat is coming up very soon. It's going to be in Atlanta, or just outside Atlanta, Georgia, April 25th to the 27th. You can find out more over on our website on the community tab. You can find out a bunch more about the community there in general and about the Atlanta specific retreat. There is still room available. We would love to have you come join us. Reach out to us if you have any questions. But yes, come join us in Atlanta. Come join us on calls before that.
Just join us.
There's a lot of fun things.
You can find out all the information to join us over on our website, normalizingnonmonogamy.com. Click on the community tab, and everything you can imagine will be there. I know we just threw a lot at you, and you're like, what? You get workshops, you get calls, you get retreats. Yeah. You get a lot for under $10 a month. So please come check it out. We'd love to have you join us.
We also, separate from our community, do virtual speed friending events. These are open to anyone. You just must be open-minded and respectful. We actually just had our March event last week. It was super fun. We had a great time. We're going to be taking April off from this event, but our next one will be May 16th. So mark your calendars now. May 16th in the evening. Come join us for virtual speed friending. And You can actually sign up on our website if you want. So
there's a banner at the top. You can already sign up. That'll put it right on your calendar. Then you don't have to mark your calendar. It's marked for you.
Right.
All right. Last thing we want to tell you all about is our favorite way to get tested for STIs. If you're out there in the world, meeting people, having a good time, doing your thing, we highly recommend knowing your sexual health status so you can share that with the people you're having a good time with and keep everybody as safe as possible. The service that Emma and I use is called stdcheck.com. We've told you about it on this show for years and years and years because we absolutely love it. And based on the number of you that are using it, you also love it. So if you head over to the resources tab, you can find links there. When you use those links, you will save $10, which brings the cost of a 10-panel test down to only $129. And using those links helps support the show financially. So thank you for doing that. And thank you for being amazing sexual health advocates. Go be awesome.
And last but not least, a reminder, reach out to us, send us a voicemail, send us an email. You can find that information over on the Contact Us page of our website. We would love to hear from you. If you want to be a guest on the podcast, you can share. We want you to share your story. Just let us know.
You don't have to be a new mother.
No, you don't.
Or an almost mother.
You can just be you to come and share your story. Or if you have any feedback, questions, comments for us, please let us know.
Or if we confuse the hell out of you and you're like, I want to be a part of your community, but I don't know how, we can answer those questions too.
Exactly.
Or if maybe you've accidentally signed up for the premium subscription because you thought it was the community and then we have to fix that, we do that too. We're your one-stop shop for all things normalizing non-monogamy.
And with that, let's go and talk with Eka.
Welcome back to the show, Eka. We're super excited to chat. We talked to you about 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
And since then, you've added 50% more people to your family. So welcome back. We're excited to chat.
And we'd love for you to start by just maybe introducing yourself for anyone who hasn't listened to your previous episode.
Okay, so hi, I'm Eka. I'm from Lisbon, Portugal, in Europe. I'm 36 years old, and I live with my nesting partner, Em, and now our 2.5-year-old baby, Elle. From Lisbon, from here, I've lived here most of my life, traveled around the world, and then back here to settle with now this small family. And I work in education. I've worked in the private sector before, and now, besides all that, I'm a happy and tired mom.
Wonderful. Well, we're excited to have you back, Eka. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'd love for you to start by just walking us through kind of your maybe a higher overview of your non-monogamy journey up until like when did it start and where were you about 2.5 years ago?
Right up until baby arrives.
Yes.
Exactly. So everything started for me around 2012. I got out of a very traditional monogamous relationship with my college boyfriend, and I didn't know any other references. And then I met this guy from Canada, and he was the one who introduced me to some concepts, and it got me thinking about these possibilities. And then when I met my current partner, M, he was also already like super into the concepts and the idea of it, but not the practice. And I think together we've been, practicing and failing and experimenting and failing again throughout these years, over decades. And right up to the moment when baby Elle was going to be born, it was a stage of, contrary to what would be expected, my pregnancy was a phase of a lot of expansion and exploration. So M had another partner, a Brazilian woman who was here for over a month. So they had quite a deep connection during that period of time while I was pregnant. And then I also met another guy, X, and I fell completely in love with him. And so by the time my belly was huge, speaking to you, X was in Cairo. He's from Egypt, so he was back in Cairo visiting his family, and we had said goodbye because we didn't know if we were going to see each other again before the baby was coming and everything was changing. Also, Ahmed said goodbye to his girlfriend. She went back to Brazil. And so we were at this stage where we don't know what's coming. New relationship is going to start in our lives. It's going to consume all of our time and love and energy. So we didn't know what non-monogamy looked like after the baby was born. So that's where we were when we spoke last time.
Yes. Great summary.
Amazing. And nobody knows this, but we've done this 3 times now.
I know.
So we've had a lot of practice. So we're and we seem to be in the clear. So we're gonna power on and we're
Yes.
excited.
Let's do this.
Yes.
So let's bookend this and say, where are you and M and X and Elle, and
Yeah.
everybody. Where are you today? And then we'll fill in the gaps of what's been going on the last 2.5 years.
Okay, okay, wow, yeah. So today, so I'm still nesting partners with M, and we are raising baby L together with a lot of struggles. There's parenthood. Everyone tells you this, but then when you're in it, right? So this is our stage here at home. Let's say it's still the same home with an extra person in our lives, and then X is still around. We are now in a, I don't know what we call this relationship. Like he's like a super dearest friends with whom also we have sex sometimes. So it's kind of a boyfriend, but he doesn't spend so much time in Portugal. I'm not as available. So it's, I don't know. At some point, I said he was like a comet type of partner who's coming and going, but I think it's more than that. So I don't know. But he's there, and our love is thriving actually after also some bumps in the roads. Yeah, and now I'm at the stage where I'm also exploring well, in two stage. One, a little bit of kink exploration in my life with like very reduced time, but a little bit, and which I hadn't before. And then the other is, I think, more complete, is I have been kind of relating more to the concept of demisexuality, and with that I also expanded somehow my, you know, expression of love towards all genders, which before, if I had talked about, I would say, no, I'm straight. And then started like questioning. So right now I've been also have, let's say, another relationship with a friend, a woman, which evolved from being a purely intellectual and emotional connection to also having this physical component, which has been super amazing to explore. It's very new, it's very recent, but it's also part of my current constellation, let's say. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's been a big 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Amazing. Well, let's maybe go back
Yeah, let's
to
go back.
where we last talked to you and what you're
So
just about to have a
yeah, it
kid.
was like shortly after we talked, uh, the baby was born, and so kind of walk us through what happened.
Well, I pushed out a baby through my vagina. That's what happened.
What
I'm kidding, but it's true. It's true, and it connects, right? Because it's like it has a lot of. This has been an interesting exploration also about how also sexual it is, the whole concept of pregnancy, of giving birth, of
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
breastfeeding. You know, all the same parts, you know, are involved. So it's been very interesting also to feel it and to read about it. So that was, I think, the first thing I would say. You know, there's love, there's this huge bubble. I was at least fortunate, not everyone has this experience, but I was fortunate to feel this bubble of love after Elle was born. And I felt it expanded for all my loves. Like even if I was not with X at the moment, I was still feeling so much love for him as well, and for like my sister, and like I felt the love expands, you know. So the baby was the center of it, but it was expanded. So there was this love bubble, but also this very physical experience of the giving birth, but also the breastfeeding and everything. So that's being in contact with that body part of motherhood, and so that was also, I think, on the first, I don't know, months at least. You know, there's a full dedication to this baby, and and that's a lot about what happened to me. Like, you know, not just my mind and my soul and my love, but also my body was in a lot of regards his. But at the same time, somehow, and I think this is due to the relationship with X, I kept this, let's say, connection with the outside world, this connection with Eka, who's not a mom.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And so there was this interesting dynamic of, on one hand, and I'm still am, like, he's 2.5 years old, and I still breastfeed. So I'm a very attached type of mother, and I want to, you know, co-sleep and be with the baby and so on. So that's not my style, you know, like mothering style, to just, you know, be so. Even I was even criticized about this, like not wanting to leave the baby to go away. So I'm this type of mama bear, but at the same time, I had X, and he came back to Portugal. He lives here, so he was coming back, and the love for him was still there, and the willingness to connect was still there. So this was also this drive to experiment with, okay, maybe the baby now can stay a couple of hours at home with the father, and I can go out and be not the mom and be just me with him, and with him he's not the father, so there's this other dynamic going on. So this was what was happening right after the baby was born. It was, on one hand, a lot of dedication to motherhood and figuring everything out at home with Em, who's the co-parent, but also having this other connection that was pulling me to the outside and to not, let's say, not get completely swallowed into the motherhood
Yeah.
chapter, which I feel very appreciative about, actually.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you about. Of like, I know I have not had a child, but I know from many friends and people I've talked to that have had children that like it's so easy in those first couple months, especially the first 6 months, 8 months, like to really get sucked in and lose your identity of someone else other than a mother. And do you feel like this was? It sounds like this was helpful to you to keep that attachment to like this is your focus is being a mother, but you still have this other part of you and that's okay. You can tap into that when like at times.
Yes, and I feel like non-monogamy or polyamory, let's say polyamory, it's such a good concepts. There are so many learnings that also apply to being a parent. Because in the end, like when you have multiple kids, I only have one kid, but when you have multiple kids, this is one of the questions. Like, can I love my second kid the same way I love my first kid, right? And this is the basis of polyamory, like that love expands. Time doesn't expand, it's true, but love expands. So I think coming from this concept before the baby was born, that I already knew that I could love M and X, in not comparable amounts, like in huge amounts, both of them. Then when the baby comes, I didn't feel, what a lot of mothers talk about, feeling guilty of like spending time away from the baby. I didn't. When I was ready, I didn't. I took my time to spend time away from the baby. But whenever I was ready, and then I was not guilty because I knew that it's, if the baby is okay and he's with his father or with someone who cares deeply about him, he's having a good time and I'm having a good time, right? And it's okay. And also come back home as a better person and more fulfilled person. So yeah, it was very important to me. And even in the sexual components, like right after giving birth, everything is messed up with your body, with a
Yeah.
with a woman's body, right?
Uh-huh.
And it's hard to think about, and because everything is so connected, it's hard to think about sex while nursing a child. And I was like, it was summer, so I was all walking around the house naked, my boobs out, just trying to figure out the nursing stuff. So it's not the sexiest environment, right? But then coming out and going for a couple of hours at X's house where the baby's not there, and even though he was fully aware and he met the baby even, and there's a very funny relationship going on between them. But there I could be, and he would still see me as this, sexy woman that he met. He was not making the deep connection with me giving birth and everything. So this was a good, I don't know, it was a good trigger to me feeling myself, my sexual self again, and then coming back home and also having that for M, my nesting partner and co-parent,
Yeah.
who was also kind of struggling through what does it mean to be a father, right? And so yeah, it was. I think it was very positive for us to have this like external connection that helped us, kind of, have perspective and grow in a lot of sense. There's so many things throughout these 2 years that I've learned through the relationship with X that then I brought home with some, learnings or, insights about myself or about the relationship with M or, so many things. So yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's amazing, Eka, and I'm curious just on. I think I'm guessing there's some people listening that are curious about this too. Just the dynamic between you and M, and then you and X, and also M has another partner at this time. So is after the baby's born, is he out dating or going out with his partner? And I think I'm curious how the well, I think when people open up a new relation, or not a new relationship, but when people open up an existing relationship at the beginning, right, there's often this like excitement from the outside and sometimes the internal like existing sexual chemistry. It's not that it's gone, but it sort of wanes a little bit at times. And I'm curious, for you, your body's changing, you're at home, you and M are sort of in the like parenting stage, yet you're both sort of in these other relationships that aren't in the parenting stage. And I'm curious how they all sort of linked together.
Yeah. So So M was not. So his partner, she moved back to Brazil and she hasn't come back yet. And they are still friends. And he keeps in touch with a lot of people that he met. He went on a few dates after the baby was born. But I think for him, he's been like, I think more, you know, fully dedicated in terms of, I think he doesn't have, we're always like this. Like, I'm the one who has more energy and does more stuff and more outgoing and so on. And M is the one who has like less energy and more keeps to himself in the house and so on. So with the baby in his life, it's a completely new challenge. So he has been much more focused in the baby, himself, and also his parents because we have also some health situation with his parents. So he was more, let's say, going inwards, and I'm the one who has connections outside, and this was helpful for me, and I hope for him as well. I hope the balance is positive, that I'm like kind of being able to recharge my batteries outside and have more than, you know, capacity to support him. Whereas I'm not asking of him so much because he's giving so much of himself to the baby and to his extended family. And sometimes, and this has been a, you know, a tension point between us where I miss him and I miss the energy that he used to have for me. And he just tells me, look, I don't have it. Like, we're not sleeping properly. There's all this stuff going on, and I just don't have enough energy to go out on dates with you. Even if we have babysitter, then he doesn't have the mental energy to be there in a date, proper date with me or with anyone, you know, talking and engaging because it's he's maxed out for now. And I think he's okay with that. I think he's very aware more than me. I think of his own limitation and what he needs to at least be okay. I wouldn't say like amazing, but at least survive
Yeah.
this stage. So this has been on his side. And on my side, it's been this like, you know, recharging outside and also bringing home with this, the sexual part. I think it's been like a trigger for the home because I still, Em and I, we still have a lot of chemistry. We just don't have the time, you know, in the moments because the baby's awake and now he's more awake. Like, so we're talking about the beginning, but now he's 2.5. So he just sleeps one nap per day. So he's awake most of the time that we are awake. So don't have a lot of time alone where things can happen. But when I'm more triggered from the outside and I come home more horny for some conversation or something that happened or a text message with someone, and then I can bring this in, even if it's, let me like be realistic, it's much, much less frequent.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like
Yeah. But
much
it's
less, like to realistic expectations, you know, like, and I'm totally okay with this, but like it reduced a lot our frequency of having any kind of intimacy.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and I think it's
But
important to establish that there's not enough time or energy.
yeah.
Right? Sometimes all we want to do is just sit in the couch and watch a TV show because we haven't had time to watch a TV show because when the baby's around, we don't want the TV on because we don't want to, you know, screen time and so on. So it's just nice to just sit and watch a TV show that we haven't done in, I
Yeah.
don't know, in months. Whereas
Yeah.
before this was every day you can watch a TV show, right? So
Yeah.
we value
Yeah.
different things. Yeah.
Right, right. And also, well, first of all, I think you're using the word trigger in like a good way, like getting triggers
Yes.
from the outside to bring it back in. And I just wanted to
Yeah.
clarify that to make
Yeah.
sure
Like
if
spark.
yeah,
Sparks.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would say
yes,
sparks. Yeah.
exactly,
Sparks.
exactly.
Yes.
And also it seems like you and M are kind of looking at this and experiencing this as like, this is a phase. This is a phase of life. This is what we're going through. It doesn't need to stay here all of the time. Like, you're open to ebbs and flows as you move through this phase. And, you know, you have a little kid. And that's a
Mhm.
different life than it was before. And so, but that doesn't mean you necessarily need to like stay there forever, right? Like, it's just, I think that can often be helpful to remember that when you're in it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm the one who keeps forgetting that. And I think M is the one who keeps reminding me that it's a stage. And for me it's like, no, let's do something else or let's not stop here. And I think we balance each other out and we think it in the end it's good. But it's been a struggle. And I think one thing that it's been, you know, as time went by, people say the first few months are hard, but honestly, I think after 1 year old, it's harder. Or for us, it's been harder because our baby doesn't sleep through the night. Some babies sleep through the night at 1 years old, and I can guess that that would be very nice. But for us, it's not reality. We don't sleep through the night yet. So after 1 year, you know, tiredness gets in. So our struggles, you know, as a couple increased a lot after the first year. The first year was more of a honeymoon, even though everything is very physical and you dedicate a lot to the baby, but we still, I don't know, somehow I still found more time to connect with M. But then after 1 year old, and he it doesn't go to daycare, so we do this logistic combination where we stay part time with him and we have babysitters, so it's a whole logistics. And I think the tiredness and everything gets to you, so we started having more fights and big fights, and like also at some point thinking that maybe we're not a couple anymore, we're just co-parents, and things were at we had some really really down, really really lows. And for me again, I think the non-monogamy concepts helped me because of the whole concept of de-escalation and not being stuck to the scripts. I went to this some point I went to this retreat with other mothers and babies, and one mother was sharing that she got divorced when the baby was, I don't know, 1 or 2 years old, and she was tearing up and like feeling guilty about this decision of breaking up with the father of the child. But then she's saying, "How can I stay with someone I don't love anymore? And it's just not healthy for me." And I came home and it hit me a lot because I didn't want to get to this stage with M, right? You know, the point where you resent the other person so much that you cannot stay in the same house together. And then I started like kind of changing the lenses through it. I'm looking at our relationship and thinking about the different components separately, because you know this traditional script says this one person has to be everything for you, right? You know, the husband, the father, the the nesting partner, the domestic partner, everything, the friend. We, even if we are like already doing this alternative lifestyle, we get stuck in the same patterns, right? So in the end, I'm like rethinking and thinking, no, wait, okay, maybe right now is not my best friend, like it's not the person with whom I having being able to have like deep conversations. He used to be, but right now he doesn't have the time. Maybe he's not my lover right now, you know, the passionate lover that we once were. you know there's a lot of things that he's not, but there are so many good things that he is, that we are together as a team, you know, as co-parents, as you know living together, sharing the small moments of having dinner together with Elle or without, and try to be more appreciative. And this has helped me. This is more recent, like past 6 months, helped me reframe and rethink our relationship and not be at this stage of all or nothing, where you get in this kind of more catastrophic mindset of, oh my God, it's not working. We need to break up. We need to live in separate houses, divorce, and everything. And it's like, no, wait. This is not the script we are living by. We're living by another script. So this has been, yeah, my thought process.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing. And it to me again, just touching back on some of the previous episode, right? Your relationship with M went through these sort of phases, these ups,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I don't even want to say ups and downs. Just they were just different phases of we're together, we're apart, we're living across the world. We don't know exactly what we are, but you maintain the connection and you maintain that partnership with one another and let it be what makes sense. And I think that's just is really amazing to hear how you're doing that. And I think it there's often, take a baby out of the picture, right? It can be easy for people to start comparing partnerships and say, well, we're not having sex or having those best friend conversations. You're doing those with other people or another person. Well, now they're your primary partner, or they're, and you can start labeling all of this, but it sounds like you two are able to really say, okay, right now, this is what we're capable of together. Is it where we want to be? Maybe, maybe not, but we're okay with it. And we're going to just sort of be in that for now together. And I think that's, I don't know, it's amazing to me to hear how you two are navigating this.
You made it make it sound so easy.
Well,
Yeah, we're
it's really
trying.
easy for me. I just
We're
have to
trying.
watch you do it.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to take away from the challenges that I imagine. This is
No.
tons of conversations, emotional nights and days and all of that. So but at the end of
Thank
it,
you.
you two do seem to be at least in a place where you're continuing to co-parent together and maintain the some connection, or it seems like quite a bit of connection.
Yes. Yeah, and grow together. Yes, that's for sure.
Mhm.
That's true. That's true. And I'm
Mhm.
very grateful for it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious, what are some of the things that you feel you've learned about yourself the last couple of years?
Okay. Uh,
Simple question, simple question.
yeah. Well, learned so many. I don't know. Um, I think I'm gonna go with the demisexuality topic. I'm not sure if I we broached this topic last time because it came from before, but I didn't really dwell on it. I don't know why it started coming across now. A friend of mine said something like as a woman, when you are like you already have kids, so that reproductive somehow, instinct is gone, then you can start exploring everything else that's out there. I don't know if it's a too simplistic way of view, but I don't know. Maybe if it was hormones, maybe it's like my body shifting or something shifting. But I started, so I do therapy. I continue to do therapy after the baby was born, even though sometimes don't get the time. But it's been very helpful for me to keep having this partner, outside, who helps me think through challenges and also contextualize with my childhood and the like traumas and everything. When you are raising your own child, things will come up, right? So been
Yes.
dwelling on different topics, and then I don't know exactly when it started, but I just started thinking more about how it happened to me very often that people that I meet for the first time and I see them and I think like I don't think anything is gonna happen with this person, sexually. Like somehow it seems I'm not attracted to them, and I even verbalize this for to M, which is not helpful in expectation management because after a few conversations I end up with bed in bed with this person, and then he's like, "What the hell happened?" And I'm like, "I don't know." Like honestly, when I saw this person, I didn't think there was chemistry, and then there was. And then my therapist, one time we were just talking about this, and he said, "Well, yeah, I think you're demisexual." And I'm like, "I don't even know what that is." So I started like reading more about it. And well, a side note: when you're nursing for many hours, when the baby is small, with phones, you have a lot of time to scroll on your phone on Instagram and to read stuff. Now it's not the case anymore because he's always talking around. But when they are small, so I think it was around that time that I started reading more stuff and started questioning myself, like, what does this mean? And then I think I didn't know that I might not have this primary sexual attraction that most people have of looking at people. Like every time I was like, Tinder and other platforms of sorts, when you're like looking at the picture, and a lot of people are like, yes, no, yes, no. I can never tell. I'm like, how? I can tell someone is like beautiful according to, I don't know, uh, uh you know, uh, some standards. I can see
Yeah.
why people, but that attraction, I don't feel it. And then I realize, okay, this is something that exists, and people are like this. And then it comes through the emotional, intellectual connection, and then from this, I started questioning, okay, then why does it have to be people who own dicks, right? Why does it matter the genitals of someone if it's about connection? Maybe I'm blocking myself. I don't know why, out of, I don't know, social norms and the way we are educated and so on. And I started like questioning this, started also getting to know more people who are non-binary and trying to understand gender roles. And I also was a kid that was not really, I think if I had been a teenager nowadays, I probably would identify as non-binary because I had all these questions about being a town boy or not being a girly girl. And so in between somehow. So I started like dwelling on these concepts, and I don't know, like at some point in theory, I like, okay, yeah, in theory, I think I'm a demisexual and I think I'm queer in the sense that I think it doesn't matter if the person identifies with one gender or the other or has one sex or the other. In theory, in practice, I've never done anything with anyone who wasn't a cis man. So yeah, so this is something that I learned myself until now, and until September, it was all theoretical.
So just fairly recently.
Yes, yes. I took some time. It took some time. I think it was this all 2 years.
Yeah, yeah, of just well, it's not like you didn't have anything else going on in your life.
Yeah, no, very boring.
Well, I'm curious about that shift for you, Eka, when you said it was sort of all theory, and it sounds like you had gone out on maybe something akin to a date, and it was all very intellectual, and then it it shifted. And I'm curious what that first shift was like for you when you're going from the I think we're just friends who have this deep connection to oh there's a new component that I've never explored before, especially in your mid 30s to try something brand new like that.
Yeah. So it was much, I would say, weirder than going on a date. It was. There was this woman, a friend that I've known for a while, but we were not very close. Like we knew each other through work, and we had some. This is one of those people, when you get in touch and you're like, yeah, this person I really like, and I think we are alike. But then we didn't have much time to engage and talk. She lives in another city, and through somehow I got to know that she was interested in non-monogamy, and I didn't know exactly in what terms. I was like, oh, there's someone I know, because I don't have so many friends now. I have a little bit more friends, but I don't have so much friends who are exploring non-monogamy, and so especially women. So I was like, okay, yeah, I want to talk to you, and then we got together in a dinner with multiple people. It was a kind of work related dinner. So a lot of people were there. And then I was like, yeah, I want to talk to you. And she's like, yeah, I want to talk to you. And then we started sharing stories about non monogamy and about what it means. And she's at a very different stage. She's still like also in theory, like thinking what it meant for her and so on. But this dinner was the moment where I realized like we had like a deeper connection. It was only like intellectual, emotional. But at the same time, in my mind, I'm going through this process of maybe I'm demisexual, maybe I'm queer, maybe it doesn't matter what gender or what sex the other person has. So this is going inside my mind, and I'm having this very beautiful conversation with this person. And this was like June. Then I didn't see her for a while, but I'm gonna share this because this is kind of anonymous, so people will not see my face when I'm sharing this. But when I was like touching myself, suddenly an image popped by, in my mind. And I'm not someone who usually like pictures anyone.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very like, like abstract masturbation. Then suddenly I'm like, and I'm even embarrassed in the moment, like, what? Like, why am I seeing this person? And then at the moment you're like, it's your mind, you're alone, no one needs to know, right?
Yeah,
it's just a
to yourself.
fantasy.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, let it go. It's funny. And then it happened again and again, like two or three times. I'm like, oh my God, I'm fantasizing about this woman. And I didn't even, I mean, I knew that she identified as bisexual, but I didn't, but she had never explored anything with women. So, and I didn't even know that if she was seeing me that, through that lens, but like, okay, so this fantasy started being in my mind, but it was just a fantasy, like purely platonic fantasy. And I'm very good at this because through all my teenage years, I love reading, and I always like fall in love with the characters and have this whole romance in my mind. And it's just, and I'm so enriched in myself through this that I don't need anything else. They don't need to be real. It's okay. Like I'm happy. And with lack of time, with the baby, fantasizing is it's awesome already. So
Yep.
so this is where I'm at. And then there's this coincidences that she's coming to Lisbon more often than she was for many months. She was not coming to Lisbon, and then suddenly she's coming, and she just messaged me, hey, I'm gonna be in Lisbon. And I'm like, and it was around my birthday, and I'm like, oh, really? It's my birthday. Do you want to come to my birthday dinner? And she came with some other friends were there, and she messaged me saying something like, so do you have any birthday wishes? And I'm like, I don't know if this is flirting or not, because what are the rules? Like, I have no idea what it means to flirt with a woman, especially if I don't know if she's seeing me through this. If it was a guy, then I would more or less know, like,
Yeah.
so I was like, do you have any wishes? And I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna, take a leap of faith and say, actually, yes, messaging. It's easy when it's messaging.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then she's like, tell me more, tell me more. And I put this kind of, shy emoji. And then she's like, now you have to tell me. And I said, well, it's a kiss from you. And then she's like, yeah, you can have two messaging. You can have two. And in Portugal, we greet each other with two kisses on the cheek, one on each side. So this is friendly. So I read into this like, okay, she's just, downplaying me too. We are friends. Of course, you get two kisses. I even said like little kiss, beijing in Portuguese, which is very innocent. So I'm like, okay, forget it. It's just a fantasy. Nothing's gonna happen. So then my birthday came, and she was there, and we were all talking, and nothing happened. And then the next day we met for some other reason, and we were alone for a moment. Em was out with the baby, and then she's like, "You never told me what that story of the kisses was about." And I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm so embarrassed." And then it's like, and like, I'm a very. I told her what I just told you about me being platonic and fantasizing about stuff in general, and then I'm totally fine with the theoretical. And then she's like, well, I don't know, but I'm a bit impatient about exploring stuff. I don't know. She said something, and then I'm like going back and forth, like, I don't know what I said. She took my hands and she said, "I'm going to kiss you, okay?" And then she kissed me. And it could have been one of those things where you just like, a kiss and it's like, total flop and there's no chemistry. Guess
Uh-huh.
what? It wasn't. So it was very, very nice. And ever since, like, she doesn't come that often here, so we didn't see each other so many times, but we have been exploring a little bit more. And I was a bit skeptical about my ability to actually engage in, actually more intimacy with a woman. I don't know. I think I have a big bias against vulvas and vaginas in general. I think it's the way we are socialized. You are socialized to adore the dick in all its forms. Everywhere people do the drawings and there's monuments to it, and then you be ashamed of the vulva and your own vulva. You don't touch it. You don't talk about it. The word is people don't like the word. It's like and so I think I had like a lot of in myself thinking maybe I'm gonna feel disgusted. Maybe I'm not. I don't have I'm gonna freeze. But then in the end, it's been really sweet and very different because I don't know if it's because she's a woman, I'm a woman, she's also a mom. I don't know what it is, but there's something more intimate and more, I don't know, easygoing about this exploration that with the guys I've been, even if they are like with X and M, people, guys that I really love and I feel comfortable with. There's some, I don't know, some degree of, I don't know, shyness of sorts. And with her, it was, even if it was at some point, it was a bit awkward and silly. It was okay. It was comfortable. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm so grateful for this, surprise from the past month. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And I love that like you described, like there's something different. And like there's something, I mean, not only are people different, but genders are different. And like just there's so much that you can explore and by pushing like you're pushing outside your comfort zone a little bit. And that's, a little bit intimidating and also like it's really fun.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been really fun. Yeah. Yes.
Well, I think there's something too as well to the just doing new things, right? Is
Mhm.
is exhilarating, and it gets all sorts of new brain chemicals going, and it's exhilarating to get out and try something new. And like you said, there's the nerves, there's the is it not, flirting, it's bashful, it's all the things all wrapped up into one. And I don't know, it
Yeah.
sounds like it's been a really fun and
Mm.
powerful exploration for you.
Yeah. And I think she adds on to because she's a mom and she has older kids. So she's been through the baby stages and everything. And there's this, I don't know, this understanding. And maybe our personalities are also like alike in some ways, in a way that I feel like very seen and very understood by her. And she feels the same about me. So I always tell her that, the physical component, it's a really nice bonus. But there's this, because I have this thing, and I think I shared this in the other episode about like, I realized that I'm a very guarded person in general, and then I'm very vulnerable and open, but only somehow with guys with whom I have sex with. So normally my boyfriends, and this is in the monogamous situation, it's problematic in the sense there's only one person that's like your person for everything. In the non-monogamy, it has been this, and this has been what development with X has been, to find these other friends with whom I can be much more vulnerable and open up, emotionally, because I have this, I don't know why and where it comes from. I haven't figured out yet. Somehow, I think it might relate to the demisexuality. I don't know. There's some connection here that one thing unlocks the other. And now I never have like very close women friends, because there seems to be always this separation that I cannot like come break from myself. Like there's this wall that I put up that I cannot take out. And with her, it's gone. And I think it's the physical part, the physical intimacy that helps me, break the barrier for the emotional sharing and the vulnerability. There's some, I don't know, I still need to dig deeper on this. But so this experience has been very interesting because the guys with whom I fell in love before and I have relationships with have very different personalities from mine. So they don't really get me in that way. There's different, they have all other amazing things, but we are very different in that sense. And with her, she gets me so much, and there's this added bonus, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I expect you to have this fully figured out for part 3 when we bring you back in
Yes.
another. Otherwise, you're not allowed back on. That's
Yeah,
the.
I'll keep working on it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm curious, Eka, looking ahead. I mean, you've had so many big changes the last couple of years, and really the last 12 years. But I'm curious, looking ahead, it's the beginning of 2025. Are there things that you're excited for to explore this year, or to whether it's figure out for yourself, or just enjoy this year that are bringing up some excitement for you?
Yes. So first, this connection with this friend. Let's call her T. I'm gonna go through the whole alphabet.
Yeah, yeah.
I think there's so much more to explore with her, and as my kid gets older, I also expect to be a bit more free because till now I still, we co-sleep, so I haven't been away any one full night. All the dates that I had and everything that I had were like always a few hours away and then coming back to nurse. And this is a choice that I've made very consciously, but he's growing up, so and that I think that will also free me up a little bit for some additional exploration, first and foremost with her. I'm also excited about the relationship with X. I think we went through rough patches also through these past 2 years because we came to the conclusion that I didn't want him to co-parent. He didn't want to co-parent. So how does this fit in the whole picture? And now we are at this stage where we have this very beautiful friendship with physical intimacy intertwined. And and I think after these 2 years of, let's say, turbulence, I think the past few months is when we have found our pace. I also accepted the fact that he's also not around all the time. He spends months away and then comes back, and this is what's hard for me. And he also made peace with the fact that I have a baby and I have a family, so I'm not available, to sleep through the night and to go away on weekends with him as he would do with other girlfriends. And I think now we have made peace with accepting one another. So I'm excited about continuing to explore what it looks like, this, let's say, this connection, this beautiful connection. And I think the third thing is this concept of community. The saying that people say it takes a village, to raise a child.
Yes.
And I think it takes a village to be a human being in general. As an adult, you don't have to have a child to need a village. I think we all need a village, and I've been missing that village. And I think the non-monogamy explorations and polyamory has been my kind of way of trying to find my people and my village. And now with the baby, I feel it so much more. The fact that it's so needed to have multiple grown-ups around, to have people to lean on, to have this other people to charge your batteries when the one who's raising the kid with you can't, right? So I think we gave good steps towards this, but I'm excited about being more intentional about it and seeing what it could look like in the city where we are, who are the people around us that share the same values, because again, we're surrounded by monogamous traditional people. Most of our friends, all of our families, the few people in my family, younger cousins who are, exploring also this non-monogamy pathway, are not living in Portugal. They are living abroad. So we need to still, find our footing in this setting that is still very traditional. One thing that has been, although very painful, but also very rewarding, has been I've been very active in the Palestine solidarity movement in
Mhm.
Portugal. I'm part of this group called Parents for Peace that we started. A bunch of mothers and fathers who are enraged by the situation. And it's been interesting because through this movement of solidarity, of finding people who share the same values, who are striving for a better world for our kids, for all the kids in the world, I found a couple of connections that share also the our concepts of non-monogamy, of polyamory. We have embraced me as full. It was the first time in my life where I met new people, and I didn't make made any, you know, I didn't hide anything. One event I was coming with M and baby. The other event I was coming with X. I was like kissing both of them openly, and people can just take their own conclusions.
Hmm.
And it was so nice that this group of people was like non-judgmental, and some of them, they're like, yeah, I'm also non-monogamous, and I have this and this connection, and they're like finding, oh right, and they started to talk. Others are like, well, never heard of it, but it sounds super interesting, can you tell me more? Others are like, I think I'm starting to do this, but I don't know how. Can we catch a coffee and share stories? I have recommended your podcast widely.
Aw.
We
Well,
still
thank
don't have
you.
a Portuguese or speaking one, but most of them like fluent in English. So I'm like, so through this, movement of solidarity with another cause, but I think in the end, the cause of liberation, freeing, liberation of the people in general, it also includes, free love, right? So everything is connected. And so it made sense that people who are in this movement are also non-judgmental about different ways of living your life. And so it made me feel hopeful about building this community, not only like an online community where, I know you guys are out there, and there's the podcast, and there's like people I follow on Instagram and so on, but also like a physical community where we go to each other's houses, and we know maybe we raise our kids somehow uh, together. We're not there yet, but I'm excited that 2025 will be the year we're gonna like lay the foundations for this.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's amazing. I think that there's this, it, it sounds like a need for connections within the non-monogamous community that aren't focused on, you know, forming a partnership, but just purely for support, to be there for each other, to support the partnerships, to support being a mother, to support being Eka, not
Yeah,
just what can this turn into, and not that they can't turn into something, but that's not necessarily the focus.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
I also I was going to ask you a question that you kind of already answered, of like how open are you with other people about non-monogamy and having alternative relationships? And it sounds, I do love this approach in some ways of just going into spaces and being you, sometimes with one partner, sometimes with another partner, and then letting people talk to you about it. Because then it's also takes, in some ways, less effort on your part too. You're not trying to warn people or anything like that. You're just being yourself.
Yeah, so I've done this in this, in this situation, in this context. I'm not doing that in other contexts. For instance, at the, I'm gonna change. I might be changing the place I'm working soon, and I'm not gonna share any of this because I know it's a context, a very traditional context, and it will not be well seen. So I'm not gonna share
Yeah.
in detail. In our family, we have like few people who are aware, other people who are not aware, and we are like, I have, for instance, this T, the woman friend I was mentioning, she has met like a lot of my family members, but they don't know the details of what our friendship looks like. She calls it the invisibility cloak of friendship
Yeah.
between two women. It's really amazing. Like there are some things between us, like when we are together and we're talking, in a group, if one of us was a guy, everyone would be gossiping about how we are flirting with each other. But because we are two women, it doesn't cross, and we are moms, and we are seeing this setup more traditional. So I think no one is like suspecting anything, and it's so funny and weird in a way. But we don't really feel comfortable, and especially her, she doesn't feel comfortable sharing in broadly. So we are keeping it to ourselves. So there's this. It's hybrid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Which makes sense. You're doing it, like you're sharing where it feels, where you feel safe to do so and comfortable doing so, and not where you don't.
yeah. I still need to think about like what it means for my kid, up until recently it was not like fully speaking. And so I brought him like in many contexts. I'm going out in the park, in the to the playground, and X is coming with us and he's pushing the swing, and he's just any other friend that I have, like another uncle that he has, but I'm gonna say hi and kiss him on the mouth. And at some point this might raise some questions from my kid when he grows a little bit more. And I still haven't figured out. I was rereading yesterday the Ethical Sluts book, the part on kids, because I'm like, okay, I think I'm coming on to this situation. When they are babies, it's like it's whatever, right? But then as they grow, I need to start thinking about this, and like, because I want to be open with him and I want to raise him in a different mindset, but
Mhm.
I also don't want to put him in a position where he needs to, lie or not be, cannot be open about what he sees at home or what he sees me doing.
Yeah.
It might raise up questions from another adult if he goes to, I don't know, the grandmother or another uncle and he says something about mommy kissing the other mommy, you know,
Mhm.
might spark some difficult questions on the other side, and I don't want to put him on a spot. Now he already talks a lot, so we are coming up on it, right? Comes faster than we know. So I haven't given it much thought for episode 3.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
I
Yeah,
think
another
episode
another
3 is going to
homework.
be juicy. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's amazing. And I also wanted to circle back to Eka on, you mentioned early on in here that you've also started to explore a bit of kink or bringing that into your life. And I just wanted to give you an opportunity if there was anything you wanted to talk about around that before we let you go today.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yes, I think it's an interesting question. It's a funny thing that happens also, like coincidental. Like I haven't been on dating apps or anything. Like everything that's been happening the past 2 years was with X, this friend that I've just mentioned. And then there was this other person. He's from Greece. I call him the Greek when I'm talking to M about him. He's someone I matched in online, I don't know, on some platform like years ago. I don't know, maybe 2018. At some point when we opened up the relationship, and then we were like reducing the intensity of connections. And he was one of the people I said, look, I'm really, we hadn't even met at the time. We just exchanged some messages. Look, I'm sorry, like I cannot like engage more. So I lost track with him, and then suddenly, like when the baby was quite small, I don't know. I remember I was like breastfeeding, and I was like on my phone. I suddenly got a text from random person saying, "Hi, do you remember me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I remember you. Like, how's it going?" Then I mentioned, having a baby, and I was like not really in the mood to date anyone new. And then he remembered. He went back to our historic messages in WhatsApp that the last time we chatted, we were sexting actually. We hadn't really met in person. We had this moment one time, and then he's like, "Yeah, I remember you had." He was saying you have like quite good, imagination for messaging, and he was like sparking this more, sexy side of me. And again, it was helpful in the sense that I'm in this context of a baby and not feeling very sexy, and then suddenly sending me these provocative messages. While we agreed that he asked me if it was okay and if I wanted to exchange, and I started just having this connection, like just through messaging. And and it was interesting. We had a few times kind of role play of sorts just through text messaging, which I told him many times, like I'm very grateful, because I'm not like having the time to go. I don't even seem like I don't even have the drive, the sex drive. But then if you get this message or a picture, look at this picture that I saw, and something, enticing, and then suddenly you're like, okay, yeah, I'm feeling it, I'm feeling something. So the Greek guy has been this spark in my life, and we have met a couple of times in person, and it was very interesting because he is very interested in exploring kink, and he doesn't. He's not very experienced, but he is very keen on exploring and in himself and trying to understand what he likes and what he doesn't like, and so we chatted a lot, and he asks me questions, and I'm like, no, I really am not into, when we talked about, the tying, and I don't know, and the BDSM or spanking, and I'm like, I don't think so. Or maybe this, maybe that. So he was very, let's say, probing, asking me questions and sparking my imagination, and I'm like, no judgment. Okay, let me think. What do I think about this? Never thought about this. Maybe what do I feel about being, I don't know, being in a dom position or being in a sub position? I've never like engaged in this type of pondering. So through this, we had two different role plays in person with completely opposite situations, and it was very funny because I was like looking to the role plays as a way to channel some needs that I had in my real life. So one role play that we had, I was, let's say, I embodied some kind of, I don't know, escort of sorts, sex worker of sorts. And I was going to meet him in a bar. And we actually did this in person, meet in a bar. And I'll do like anything you would ask me with some rules, like growing, let's say, increasing degree of intimacy according to some, it was like a game of sort. There
Mm-hmm.
were some points or some, we had some game, some thing going on. And my need behind this was like, I'm tired of having to think about everything to do in my life. Like, I even have to think about when I'm going to schedule to have a date and sex with M. So I want just to, for like 2 hours of my life, just tell me what you want me to do and I'll do it. And let's see how I feel about it. So we did this and it was kind of awkward and funny, and but it was nice and it was sexy also and interesting. And then we talked about doing it again, but then scheduling is impossible for me.
Mm-hmm.
Babysitter logistics, other priorities, work, everything. So with this once, and then we did another time the opposite. Like he has some fantasies of being sub. Of being like a servant of sorts, so we created a new character. We gave names to the characters and everything, and it was and this kind was the opposite. Like I was going to like a like I really like massage in real life, like regular massage. Like I really love massage. I go to a masseuse. I haven't been in a while, but I used to go like once a month to a masseuse that I really like. She's great, and I have a lot of tension in my back. So I started thinking, okay, let's maybe we can play around with this, and it's kind of a cliche fantasy of the masseuse with a happy ending and so on, and it doesn't have the ethical part that I always wonder about, like when you're paying someone, to give you
Mm-hmm.
pleasure, and then how ethical is it? But in this case, it's like two consenting adults. It's just a role play. He's doing it because he wants to. And so I went as this, like, power person who just, I don't care about him. I just want him to, make me relaxed in all ways possible. And it happened. It was really, and the need behind it was me thinking that I think I always have this need to give back. Like if a person is giving me pleasure, and then even if I'm not really feeling it, I'm gonna give it back because I'm supposed to. Because there's this reciprocity that is kind of mental, that you owe something to the other person because they gave you this. And as a growing up as a, I think as a girl, a younger girl, I remember, sometimes, flirting with guys and then ending up, doing too much that I really didn't want to. But then I felt like I'm flirting, so now I'm supposed to, go all the way,
Mm-hmm.
and then not feeling so good about myself about this, and thinking, but why? Like I was so happy just dancing and kissing. Why did I have to, feel the need to? Why do I felt somehow obliged in myself? Not that the guy was forcing me, but I somehow felt obliged. So I felt this character was like me taking back the power, in the sense that I'm not gonna give anything back. In this character, my character doesn't give anything. Like she's super selfish. She's like the ultimate selfish. And then it's also good counterbalance of like being with the baby, where you're the opposite of selfish. Like I'm giving my boobs to him, I'm giving everything to him. My body doesn't belong to me anymore. And so in this character, I got the space to explore a little bit of that, and it was very empowering. And then what was so interesting is that for him, it was also very pleasurable. And then he was also, after we did some debriefing, and he was super excited about it. I could not. I'm like, "Are you sure you're okay? Like, are you sure this was okay?" Like, and it was like, "Yes, this is amazing. I want to do it every time." And I'm like, I cannot believe this can be. It's hard to believe, that it could be. We are so used of this scarcity mindset where if I'm taking something, then someone is losing something.
Mm-hmm.
It was only once only. It was 6 months ago. I've been trying to reschedule. Like I really would like to go. He's also always like, he's so nice and understanding. He's like sending me some pictures like, "Hello, I'm here. Whenever you want to do." Like I have this name for this character's mother. She's Madame Z. And he's like, "Hello, Madame Z, your servant is here whenever you want to book something." And then I'm like, "Hey, sorry, like it's been really tough with life and so on." But it's been a very fun element of life, and very surprising again. Like I wouldn't never guess I would be engaging in this type of things. But it's of course very here and there. But it's nice to have those, little sprinkles of kink here and there.
Yeah, yeah, the little sprinkles of fun too, like in a different
Yes,
way, like fun and like sexy Eka time.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Thanks for asking.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just love Eka, through both of our conversations, your sort of openness to explore and let things be what makes sense for them to be. And I know it's not always easy. You're where the navigation and the compromises that have to come up to make all of the different partnerships work, but you seem to be able to navigate those with your partners to say, we're here today and that's where we're going to be and we're going to enjoy it, and that's not to say we're stuck here. And then over here, I'm here today with you and we're here and this is where we're at and we're not stuck here. And oh, this is turning into something over here. And it's just very fluid throughout your life of how you weave it together and make it work. And it's really, I love hearing about it and hearing how you make it happen. And I know it's not easy all the time and they don't just fall into place like this. The work and the communication that goes into making it happen is part of what is so impressive to me.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to share it with you. Like it's yeah, it's I don't have so much opportunities to share all of this, to be honest, because there's like, of course Am knows about everything, but it's nice to have these conversations. I know you guys get it, and you are like, also listening to other stories, and it's very nice to have this opportunity to do this kind of, looking back and see where we are, from where we're coming and where we're going, and it's a nice opportunity. So I'm grateful for you guys. Yeah, really.
Yeah, thank you. We are so grateful for you as well. And I'd love to, I guess, is there anything else you want to get out there before we let you go today?
I don't know. I mean, I think I might have said the same thing last episode, but might be the same, which is like, at least don't get stuck. I mean, not get stuck. It's kind of hard to say. I think just try different perspectives. You're a pregnant woman. Yes, it's true. You can also be a pregnant woman and have sex or explore new relationships. You're a new mom and wanting to nurse and co-sleep with your baby and be there all the time. You can, and you can also like want to step outside for a couple of hours and have a kink encounter, or go out for whatever. I think this has been. I think this is a struggle. Is that we are kind of programmed to think that we are just one thing, especially when this one thing is so meaningful. And honestly, I don't know if I might not have said this enough in the show, that I'm really loving to be a mom, and I love babies. I have loved babies, and I still love babies, and I love my baby even more, of course. But in the sense that I'm really enthusiastic about childhood and about all the small stuff, even in other people's kids. So it's been such a pleasure to have the privilege to spend so much time with my baby, which I have. I work part time. We have been lucky enough to be able to afford this, to work part time. So being a mom is really, really a big, big part of me. Even though I said I'm tired, and I am really tired, but both things can be true.
Yes, again.
But I think the advice is that even though you are so deeply in love with your baby and so committed, your baby or anything else, can be your work, can be your current partner, can be your family, can be anything, the cause that you're fighting for. You can be so deeply embedded and invested in it and still find the room, even if time is not so much available, still find the room in your mind, in your heart, to embrace other things that fulfill you and actually help you to have energy for everything else. So I think that's the invitation that I would leave to everyone else, is like, yeah, I don't think you can have it all. I think that thing about you can have it all, it's not true. You have to make choices, very intentional choices. I have this tattoo on my arm about choices. Very intentional choices, but at least make sure that those choices are just not limited by one thing that you think you're supposed to be right now. I'm supposed to be this thing. I think that's been my, I don't know, struggle and also learning. Yeah,
Hmm, hmm.
with help with from many people around me. Thankfully, it's
Yeah,
not me alone.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, and you embody it in such a big way, right? I feel like every turn you take, there's the what am I supposed to do here? And then there's the what is Eka actually going to do? And the two do not seem to line up very often.
Yes. M complains about this. M complains. Complains about me a bit.
Well, it makes for a great podcast. So we're very grateful. So thank you from our side, and our apologies, Em. We're not trying to be confrontational here. But
Yeah,
well,
he's right now cooking dinner without my help because I'm here talking to you because it's dinner time here.
yeah, well, we will let you go enjoy your dinner, and please give him our best, and as well to baby Elle. And we look forward to part 3 coming up in, we'll call it 2+ years.
Yeah, we'll
Yes.
see
We'll see.
when the timing's
We'll see.
aligned.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you
Amazing.
so much. It's been great,
Yeah,
guys. Thank
yeah.
you.
Have a wonderful rest of your night. And we're back. Thank you again, Eka, for everything today, for reaching back out, coming on the show a second time, and for sharing everything you did. It was so wonderful to talk with you.
And thank you in advance for coming on a third time.
Yes, of course. We can't wait for more updates in the future.
Yeah, lovely conversation. Thank you, Eka. And also, keep in mind that when we come to Lisbon, we're staying with you.
We're coming to visit.
We're coming to visit. Maybe not staying with you. Sounds like it's a bit crowded there. We'll stay down the road and we'll get to hang out.
Someday.
All right.
A couple of quick reminders for upcoming dates. We have our in-person community retreat coming up outside of Atlanta, Georgia, April 25th to the 27th. You can find out more over on the community tab of our website, normalizingnonmonogamy.com. We also have our next virtual speed friending event coming up May 16th. You can sign up on the events tab for that as well.
And one last quick plug for, we mentioned in the intro that we are now hosting monthly workshops in our community that are included in our community costs. So if you want to check out the next one, that is April 9th coming up. That is going to be led by Dr. Evelyn Dacker. It is something called the Stars Talk. Links are in the show notes if you want to check out that and what that means.
And you would join the community to join that workshop.
Yes. Thank you for making it less ambiguous than I did.
And next week, we have another interview for you. That is going to be with Danny. It is super great. So,
it's high energy.
Yes.
It's a beautiful conversation.
Yes.
Can't wait for next week.
So come back then and listen.
We'll see you all then.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for listening.